Orion Township Supervisor Chris Barnett talked about all the great things happening in the community during his State of the Township address at Woodside Bible Church.
The lovely spring weather has encouraged residents to venture outside and enjoy some Easter-themed events in the community.
The Lake Orion Lions hosted their 9th annual day at the Races Fundraiser at Boulder Point Golf Club, where colorful wooden lions raced to the finish line.
And a beloved figure in the community may be retired, but he still found time to take part in a worthy cause to help a friend in need.
Hello everyone, I'm Stacy Calloway.
And I'm Lexi McKinney.
We'll have those stories and so much more on this edition of ONTV News. Over the past year or so, Orion Township has been absolutely thriving with new businesses and new developments springing up almost on a daily basis. The area has been experiencing a lot of changes and growth, and Orion Township Supervisor Chris Barnett recently hosted his annual State of the Township address to share the great news with members of the community. Here are some of the highlights of his presentation.
Every year for the last 12 years, which is hard to believe, I had the distinct privilege of delivering this message to our community, sharing our ups and downs, and sharing our continued plan for success. And we always have a lot of fun picking the theme, as you can tell this year. And when you live in a vacation town, a place known for vacations, with 42 lakes, 30% of our property is designated for recreation, 70 miles of trails, and a thriving local economy, you can guess there's lots of possibilities. But this year is extra special to me because it hits close to my home. And I want to start by thanking my adventurers, my tribe, my family. See, if you know the Barnett family, you know adventure is in our DNA. To quote Helen Keller, life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. The other top reason people love it here is because it's a safe community. Our police. We are still the safest community in the entire state of Michigan with a population of more than 25,000. Not only do they keep us safe, but they are constantly and consistently giving away their time and treasure to our residents. Our force is now led by Lieutenant Keith Weir. Keith, are you here tonight? And we want to thank the men and women of the Sheriff's Office for their continued service. By the way, we're the longest standing contract of the Oakland County Sheriff's Office, 70 years. And fire. On the screen, you'll see the list of the new folks who have recently joined our team, as well as another record year for calls for service. Our Orion Township Fire Department team is constantly serving the community. And as you probably saw when you walked in today, we just recently, last week, added a new fire truck to our arsenal. Listen, friends, it's the most important job that we have. It's the reason you hire us. The reason you hire the 7 of us to lead this community is our fiscal stability. And as you can see on the screen, this is always the best for last because we're doing all these great things and we continue to lead with strength and stability. For over a decade, we've maintained the highest possible financial rating, which is a direct reflection of our sound fiscal policies and disciplined financial management. These top-tier marks awarded by independent experts who evaluate municipal performance across our entire state confirm what we already know. Orion is built on a foundation of responsibility, transparency, and long-term vision. Friends, I want to leave you with this. Our community is not measured by its size, but by its heart, by how deeply it loves. I really want to focus on that this year, how deeply we love and how far we dare to see. Please join me in this vision. Love, explore, and local.
The staff at Woodside Bible Church recorded the presentation in its entirety. You can view it on demand on ONTV's YouTube channel, or you can visit orionontv.org.
The Orion Township Public Library is always striving to stay relevant in a world where technology is constantly evolving. Recently, the library hosted a fundraiser that allowed them to show off what they have to offer. On the evening of Wednesday, April 9th, the Orion Township Public Library held its first ever library celebration, Roaring 20 style. Visitors enjoyed live music, dance lessons, and a taste of Orion featuring several different local restaurants.
It's a fundraising gala, but it's also just an opportunity to invite people into the library, show them everything we have to offer, and share our vision of the future and all the things that we want to bring to the community.
Money raised from ticket sales helps the library make improvements and achieve their goal of offering more than just books to the community.
We have a lot of big plans. So we want to buy a mobile library to offer services throughout the community. And we have a lot of plans to upgrade the building. You know, we have a 40-year-old building, and we love the building, but it's time to kind of bring it into the services we need for the current time. So the money raised today will go toward, you know, those future projects to improve the space.
Based on the success of the event, organizers are hoping to make the library celebration an annual event.
So many people that I need to thank. I want to thank all the restaurants that brought food here. We had a committee that put this together, including members of the community. So we had Pia Williams, who is also our music accompaniment, Jimmy Johnson from Graphic Takeover, Wayne Haney from Haney Farm Bureau. They all participated in the community and dedicated their resources and time to help make this happen. And then, of course, always my staff does a wonderful job. They put this all together, so much hard work. So, yeah, lots of people to thank.
The staff and board members are already looking ahead to 2026 when they will celebrate the library's 100th year of serving the community. For more information on the programs and services they offer, visit orionlibrary.org.
Spring arrived on March 20th and Easter falls on April 20th, which means there are plenty of events in the area that are encouraging people to venture outdoors to enjoy the spring weather. On the morning of Saturday, April 12th, local families had a beautiful spring morning to enjoy Orion Township's annual Bunny Bop event at the Orion Center. Now in its 16th year, 120 families were split into 3 sessions that took place at 9:30, 10:30, and 11:30 a.m. Those in attendance enjoyed live bunnies, a bubbleologist, and photo ops with the Easter Bunny. Then everyone moved outdoors for the big Easter egg hunt.
Well, that's the best. That's the best time because it's family time. It's young families together. They come out on a fortunately beautiful day. They get to do some family-friendly activities. Everybody's smiling, everybody's happy. Maybe a little bit later we might have some friends that aren't so happy because it's getting close to nap time. But when that first group walks in the door, it's just, there's nothing better.
What makes this event possible?
This event is made possible first and foremost by the You Before Me group. They have been stuffing eggs for months, so they have stuffed literally thousands of eggs for this. They're also here today doing setup, checking kids in, helping me get all the eggs set up, making sure that everything runs smoothly today. Couldn't do it without them.
The first Bunny Bop was held at Friendship Park in 2010 before moving to the Village in 2012. The event moved to the Orion Center in 2013, but the 2025 Bunny Bop may be the last one held here as Orion Township Parks and Rec is in the process of moving to the Great Lakes Athletic Center on Baldwin Road.
Well, we were allotted a little more time, which is a wonderful thing. I was looking forward to doing it here one last year. The space here is just perfect. Everything is well organized, so it was very fortunate that we could stay here one more year.
When do you think things will start transitioning over to GLAD?
Probably pretty soon, maybe the end of April, very beginning of May, we'll start getting our ducks in a row and start moving over.
Next up on the Parks and Rec calendar, volunteers are asked to take part in the Orion Green Up on April 25th. The kickoff will take place at Camp Agawam at 5 p.m. with a barbecue and tree planting ceremony. On Sunday, May 18th, runners and walkers are invited to take part in the Dragon Dash 5K at Civic Center Park. For more information about these events, visit orionparks.com.
As the Bunny Bop wound down at the Orion Center, families began to arrive for another Easter-themed event just a few miles away. On the afternoon of April 12th, dozens of families arrived at the Cirque building for the AU Foundation's 3rd annual egg hunt. The event is geared towards families who have a child or family member with special needs. Those in attendance enjoyed a buffet lunch and desserts, games and activities in the gymnasium, and a strolling magician entertained the kids. Of course, the Easter Bunny made an appearance, and the egg hunt took place in the main courtyard.
It's not just the volunteers that we have here today. We get a lot of donations through Venmo PayPal, directly through our website. We get a lot of donations in person at events that we hold, different fundraisers.
The AU Special Needs Foundation was established as a 501c3 nonprofit in 2021 to provide a fun, safe, and accepting place for the special needs community.
It means a lot. So this is kind of personal to myself and my family. So my mom started this nonprofit in 2019. I have a sister who is 18 years old now. Her name's Gabby. She's actually the whole reason this event was started. In 2012, I had a son that was born with autism. So we take a little bit of pride in doing this for not just ourselves, but the community.
The AU Foundation will host fundraisers throughout the year and has several events planned, including the popular Trunk or Treat event in October. For more information, visit ausnf.org. You can also find them on Facebook.
Love in the Name of Christ, or Love Inc., has been serving those in need in North Oakland County for 16 years. They are primarily funded by donations and recently received a generous gift from one longtime community organization. On the evening of Tuesday, April 8th, the Lake Orion branch of the Knights of Columbus held their general meeting at Christ the Redeemer Church on Walden Road. They kicked things off by inviting Love Inc. Executive Director Patricia Shapira to come up to accept a check for $5,000.
Well, how it happened is I was just recently joined the board of Love Inc. myself, and after talking with the people of Love Inc. and whatever, I seen the need, so I brought it back here to our officers at the council, and then the officers approved it, and we brought it to the council, and we had it approved.
Actually, so one of our new board members, Ron Hines, is a Knights of Columbus, and he just loved what we were doing so much and supported us that he went to bat for us, and he let me know that we might be the recipient of a wonderful, generous gift tonight.
What was your reaction when you saw the figure?
It was really amazing, because any amount of money we receive is really helpful to what we do in the community, but it was very, very generous.
The Knights of Columbus was founded in 1881 in New Haven, Connecticut by Father Michael J. McGivey. The Lake Orion chapter continues the mission of raising funds to help the less fortunate in the community.
Well, the main principle of Knights of Columbus is charity. It is to help the community in any way we possibly can, and also to support our Catholic churches in any way we possibly can.
I'm just thrilled that they believed enough in our organization to support us, and as I mentioned, my dad was a Knight, and so it's just very meaningful for me to receive that for Love Inc.
Just a few days later, on Saturday, April 12th, the members of the community gathered at Indianwood Golf and Country Club for Love Inc.'s largest fundraiser of the year. Attendees enjoyed a nice dinner and music and took part in raffles and auctions, hoping to win numerous prizes donated by a generous community.
Everything was donated from our generous community, so all of our partners that, like I mentioned before, businesses that we like to frequent, then we feel comfortable asking them to give back, and so it's a reciprocal relationship.
Now in its third year, 120 people took part in the Share the Love event that Love Inc. depends on to carry out their mission.
I see a lot of new faces too, and that's making me really excited. So these are folks who really care about their community and are, always willing to give back.
That's awesome. The money raised today, how will it help Love Inc.?
Yeah, it actually, it helps us help people get out of the situations they're in by helping them pay for some of their bills, but also encouraging them to find different ways to get out of the situations that they're in.
Invited to give the keynote address was former Detroit Lions quarterback Eric Hipple, who played for the Lions from 1980 until 1989. He talked about the role mental illness plays when people face tough times.
I think it plays a huge one. The first of all is just awareness. If you don't know what's happening, because nobody's ever said, here, this could be this, or it could be this, and so you're not aware of it. When you go through different transitions in life, and we all do, the things that get taken away from us, kind of like, the security, the maybe financial means, or maybe the trust that you might have, those things that get pulled out from underneath us, it can kind of shake our foundation and make us feel insecure, and a lot of times can bring on, those mindsets that, negativity and kind of spiraling downhill. And so if we're just aware, first of all, that can happen, in different transitions, then at least we're a little bit ahead of that. The other piece of that is, we're not alone. And that means that, if somebody is hurting or whatever, then maybe it's my turn to help them, but maybe somewhere down the road, it might be their turn to help me. And so we really depend upon each other, in many ways. And if it happens to be your time on top, the more mentally healthy we are, the more we can help others when they're down.
If you or someone you know is experiencing crisis and can use some assistance, you can call 248-693-4357 or visit loveincofnoc.org.
We're still a few weeks away from the Kentucky Derby, which takes place on May 3rd, but Lake Orion residents got into the spirit at a fundraiser that benefited a great organization. On the evening of Saturday, April 5th, the Lake Orion Lions Club hosted their 9th annual night at the races at Boulder Point Golf Club in Oxford. Attendance was up this year as over 200 attendees enjoyed a taco bar, took part in raffles, and of course wagered on the outcome of the Lions races. 24 wooden lions were decorated by local businesses and organizations, with 6 lining up at the start of each race. Large fuzzy dice determined which lions would advance towards the finish line.
Well, it's fantastic. We have some that couldn't make it this year, so we fill in. We have 24 total every year, and so we filled in with some new ones we're pretty excited about. A couple in particular, the Zuddles, and there's a few new ones, and that's fantastic to have new businesses involved helping out the community like we always try to do. And then even better than that, I think our record in the past 8 years was about 150 people attending. We're about 215 right now. So we're really killing it on that. That should really help us raise more money to help out. And we're really excited about that. The raffles are going crazy. We got squares boards. We have lottery trees that we're selling, raffling off. Everything is taking off. It's unbelievable right now. The excitement is super high. Can't wait to get the races done as soon as we get all these people fed.
In addition to the betting action, ticket sales help the Lions Club with their charitable efforts in the community.
We're always trying to raise more money to help out people in our community. We help out some other charities like Love Inc. and Leader Dog for the Blind and the Lions Bear Lake Camp up in Lapeer area that was started by our own Lionel Casson from Lake Orion Lions. So we're trying to just, in general, increasing our charities budget so that we can help more people and get people glasses. We do eye tests for free for kids to check their eyes, and quite often refer them to doctors to get their eyes checked, and it's helped a lot of kids and parents.
The Lions Club meets at Johnny Black's Public House on Baldwin on the 1st and the 3rd Wednesday of each month at 7 p.m. For more information, visit lakeorionlions.org. You can also find them on Facebook.
Downtown Lake Orion is booming with plenty of foot traffic generated by thriving businesses and restaurants, and the downtown area looks amazing, due in large part to the efforts of the Downtown Development Authority. On Tuesday, March 18th, representatives of the Lake Orion DDA visited 3 locations in the downtown area to present them with a check as part of their facade grant program. The first stop of the day was the Orion Art Center on Anderson Street, which is undergoing the complete replacement of their front porch. Director Holly Nicosia accepted a check for $2,000 to help offset the cost of the renovation.
Yeah, that wasn't the plan, as most improvement projects go. The top portion got pulled off, and then they realized that the footings and everything kind of had to be replaced. So we want to just make sure it lasts for another 40 years at the Art Center. So we're, doing it the right way, getting new footings, and it put us back. We had to wait for the ground to thaw, but here we are.
The director is hoping work will be completed before the annual Art and Flower Fair, which is scheduled to take place on May 17th and 18th. The next stop along the way was the Irish Tavern, located at the corner of Broadway and Chadbolt Street. Formerly known as Fork and Pint, the restaurant recently celebrated their rebranding.
The whole recognition and the whole branding of, call it the Irish Tavern, is being brought to life. This facades grant's going to just help with that little extra push of kind of getting our branding executed, through this transition. So it all helps.
And the final stop of the afternoon was the law offices of Spresser Ogden on Chadbolt Street. The law firm celebrated their official grand opening in July of 2023 and made quite the investment to restore the building to its former glory. Bill Ogden accepted a check for $10,000 from DDA Director Matt Gibb.
We gutted it almost to, I'm not going to say to the studs, but we did a lot of work because it's plaster walls. But it was an extensive remodel on the inside, and we knew at certain levels when you're at an 106-year-old building, you're gonna encounter some odd angles and low roofs and uneven floors. But at the end of the day, the vision was probably more by Lee Spresser, that she did a ton of the work on the interior. We knew we could make the office work. The question was become on how we were going to handle growth, the carriage house, the garage side. We have a tenant, which we're thankful for, the Orion Chamber of Commerce. Again, we are continuing to keep it in the community. So ultimately, and I had driven by this place no less than 1,000 times in my lifetime, and I knew it would be a good fit for a law office.
So the funding that the Downtown Development Authority gathers, that is the prosperity of the community. And so as our value goes up, then the DDA gets budget out of that. And then we're saying, well, how do we reinvest that? We'd rather do it in partnership. And so the three today were some small, really beautiful facades, and then this bigger project behind us. And so we're happy to reinvest those dollars back into the community through these types of efforts.
For more information about the services the DDA has to offer, visit downtownlakeorion.org.
The Orion Area Chamber of Commerce continues to be busy welcoming new businesses, with 10 ribbon-cutting ceremonies in 2025 so far, including their own new office in February. Recently, a grand opening took place in a prime location in downtown Lake Orion. On Thursday, March 3rd, representatives of the Chamber of Commerce, the Lake Orion DDA, and local dignitaries gathered at Robotic Rehab and Relief to help them celebrate their official grand opening with a ribbon-cutting ceremony.
All right, 1, 2, 3,
It means everything. I mean, this has been honestly overwhelming. Like, we loved the area, but that was a guess. I mean, we were going to dinner, we were having cocktails, we were taking our granddaughter to the park. We weren't actually directly interacting with business owners. I spent a lot of time walking up and down the block, and I try to pop into whoever's there. I've been doing that since we opened the doors. Everyone is welcoming. Everyone wants us to do well. And then this to me, I don't want to say that it was great, but I wasn't surprised. I mean, I'm just telling you, because they've been so nice. The chamber's been over backwards. Everybody's been over. From the paper, everybody has just really, really been supportive. We have business owners referring people to us. We have people popping in to say hi. We want you to pop in. Please pop in. Please come in and see what it's all about. We offer a free consult if somebody wants to sit in and just kind of see it.
Robotic Rehab and Relief is located at 146 South Broadway, next to the American Legion and across the street from Children's Park. At one time, the space was occupied by the Water Store and Bake Shop, but has since undergone extensive renovations.
Actually, the landlord handled most of the build-out, which was wonderful. He did a great job, Jeff. Made it a beautiful building. My wife put on the finishing touches of the colors and the scheming things together. She and I actually handled the design layout. And then the landlord actually took it and put it together for us, and we came in, like I said, and finished it. We built the workout area, we got everything decorated and moved in, but they handled the bulk of the build-out, which was nice.
Robotic Rehab uses state-of-the-art technology to help those recovering from an injury or needing help to manage pain beyond a quick fix.
The robot is going to give you pressure similar to a massage, but with all due respect to massage therapists and physical therapists, it can do what they can't do. And it's a piece of metal, so it doesn't get tired. It goes deep into the muscle tissue. It's not painful. A lot of people ask if it's painful. It's pressure, and we set the amount of pressure from 3 psi to 30 psi. So it's whatever you can take. We typically find that as the muscle warms up, people can take more pressure. So we start it very light, and then as they get comfortable, the muscle warms up, we increase the pressure to their threshold. We always tell people, we take as much pressure as you can relax through. If you try to fight that robot, the robot will win every time. So we want you to relax under the robot.
For more information, you can call 248-690-5444 or visit roboticrehabandrelief.com. You can also find them on Facebook.
And finally, Lake Orion boasts an impressive list of celebrities and athletes that have lived here or have had an impact on the community. Recently, ONTV's Joe Johnson caught up with a beloved former athlete and businessman who is enjoying retirement but still finds time to give back.
Over the weekend of April 12th and 13th, Detroit Tigers fans descended on the Balkan American Community Center in Troy for a very special benefit card show. A number of Tigers from the 1968 and 1984 World Series championship teams appeared at the show to help their friend Mark Dehem, who is battling pancreatic cancer.
Mark Diem is a longtime dealer and collector in the field of sports memorabilia and autographs, and he's brought players in for 30, 40 years here to Metro Detroit. And, you know, he's been dealt kind of a tough blow. He's been diagnosed with some aggressive cancer of the pancreas and the liver, and he hasn't responded real well to the chemotherapy. So they're trying some alternative things, and you know, we as a group decided we needed to help him with his medical expenses. You know, he doesn't have health insurance. He does, but it's not top tier. And you know, battling cancer and that sort of thing, if you do any research on it, on pancreatic cancer treatment, I mean, it can run to $60,000 to $300,000 depending on what they're doing. So the awesome thing about this is the community has gotten behind this, the players have gotten behind this. Lance Parrish, Jack Morris, John Warden, Mickey Lolich, Mickey Stanley, Johnny Grubb, all former 1968 or 84 Detroit Tigers, have volunteered their time. John Grubb came in from West Virginia. Jack Morris came from across the country to come here. They didn't charge one penny. It did this signing where all the proceeds go to the DM Medical Fund.
On Sunday, fans stood in line to meet members of the 68 championship team, including pitcher Mickey Lolich. The Southpaw pitched 3 complete games during the 7-game series against the St. Louis Cardinals, and he hit the only home run of his career in Game 2. He was named the 1968 World Series MVP.
What about, you had a little conference on the mound right at the end. Did Mayo come out and ask you if you had enough gas left to go, or what?
No, he says he just wanted to slow me down. He says he thought maybe I was getting too excited out there about, you know, having it so close to coming to the end. He says, I want you to take it easy, relax, and throw like you've been throwing all day.
Well, Mickey Lolich is I mean, he's beloved throughout the state of Michigan, obviously in Lake Orion. He's like the forever Tiger. He's a man that will always be a symbol or synonymous with the Detroit Tigers, especially, even though he played with some other teams, with the Padres. And when you see this line, and it really is going out the door for Mickey, it says a lot. People want to get in, they want that moment with him, you know. And here's the thing: a lot of these people in line have seen Mickey Lolich in person, and they're coming back again, you know, years later because they have something else they'd like to. I think they just want to see him. They want to meet him. He's not out in the public like he used to be, and this is just this opportunity that's kind of arose for them to have that opportunity to get something signed or take a picture with him, whatever the case may be. And I know Mickey likes doing it, too.
We talked to some of the fans who stood in line to meet Mickey and have him sign their Tigers memorabilia.
68 Tigers, I mean, I was really young at that point, but, you know, just learning a lot from a lot of these guys and meeting them over the years and talking with them. And they've got a lot of stories, and it's inspirational, you know, that these guys are getting out and doing this kind of stuff. I mean, it's great that he's getting out and he's not in the greatest health, and he's out here helping somebody else and going through you know, a crisis. So it's great. It really is. So
it's awesome. Always seeing Mickey from my donut days at his donut shop 35 years ago to seeing him today. It's always good to see Mickey. He's an inspiration. He's a great guy.
Tell me about the donut shop. What memories you have of that?
Well, I stop by Mickey's. I pick up donuts, and then I bring him cards, and he sign cards for me, and then come by later with some more cards signed for me. And then one time, I said, "What do I get out of this?" I'm like, "Well, you got all these?" And he had a few cards I had he didn't have, so I gave him cards. So I traded him. But he's always happy to post for a picture or sign stuff for people. Back then, the donut shop was awesome.
What brought you down here today?
See Mickey and to show him this picture.
Tell me the story behind that.
This was back in 1972 at a Rupp dealership, and I think it was Stanton, Michigan. Had my picture taken with him and been a fan ever since.
Talk about what Mickey and the 68 Tigers mean to you, this area.
It's, for me, in the age, it was just special. He was a hero, right? World Series MVP. I mean, he was just been everything for, you know, World Series, Tigers, all that stuff.
I was born in '68, and so that's special to me because of the '68 Tigers and how they galvanized the city during the period of the riots. And I mean, it was just a beautiful moment, you know. I mean, not just the fact that I was born, but to see a team like that galvanize the city during a period like that was just beautiful. So I remember when the stadium, before they shut it down and they got all the players together, and they brought them all in and they were doing shows in different spots, and I got the Sports Illustrated magazine signed in, but now I'm just trying to catch them all as well.
Tell me about this brick.
This brick is an original brick from Tiger Stadium that I bought at the sale at the end of the Tiger Stadium. So I've had it signed by 68 and 84 Tigers. Well, I mean, Mickey Lolich is legendary. This is a great event to be at, so I thought it'd be a good time to add him to this piece.
Did you ever make it out to his donut shop in Lake Orion?
I know right where his donut shop. He had two of them.
Tell me about your memories of the Lake Orion donut shop.
Well, is the sign. The sign at the as you would drive by, the baseball bat. That was something that you always knew that was his place because it had the baseball bat sign.
After retiring from baseball, Mickey opened up a donut shop in 1979. In 1983, he moved the bakery to Lake Orion, where residents could chat with him about baseball and have him sign their donut box. Mickey sold the donut shop in the late 90s.
Mickey, what do you think of all this attention you're getting today?
Well, best part of it is I'm very happy that people remember. Very important.
What are your memories of the donut shop? I'm from Lake Orion. You're considered a hometown hero. What are your memories? What brought you out to Lake Orion and open up the donut shop?
Well, actually, I had a donut shop in Rochester, and I got kicked out. And in talking to a guy, one thing led to another, and he told me that he had 6 acres of property, and that if I bought it, I could build a donut shop there. I says, 6 acres? I says, I don't need that much. He says, I know. How much do you need? I'll build it for you, whatever you need.
Wow. What are your memories of being out in Lake Orion? People said they would come in and you'd be hanging out and shaking hands. You have fond memories of that donut shop in Lake Orion?
Oh, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I mean, you know, and the best part of it was I was the first donut shop in Michigan to have a drive-through window. And my girls, people are creatures of habit. Guys would drive in and drive by the one window, and they'd circle the building, and by the time they got to the drive-through window, they would have their donut and their coffee, cream and sugar, whatever. They knew exactly what, and they'd hand the girl the money, and the girls got to keep the change.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Last question, the 68 World Series, you pitched 3 complete games in a 7-game series. That's never been done since. What are your thoughts of that series and what you contributed to that series?
Well, it is amazing that it happened. There was a guy that came along a couple of years after me. I think his name was Randy Johnson. He pitched 2 complete games, and then he came in and pitched in relief and got the win in relief. So he won 3 games, but it was a little different than the way I did it.
Do you think you deserve the Hall of Fame?
I think for all the innings I pitched a tremendous amount of innings in my lifetime. And I don't want to pat myself on the back, but I'd like to be there.
I think a lot of people would like to see that.
Yeah, me too.
Let's hope the powers that be can make that happen. In Troy, this is Joe Johnson reporting for ONTV News.
Thanks, Joe. What a great story, and it's so nice to see that Mickey's doing well. With that, this will wrap up this latest edition of ONTV News. On behalf of the hardworking ONTV News team, I'm Stacy Calloway.
And I'm Lexi McKinney. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.